Hi, everybody. Welcome to PWRN, Passionate World Radio Network. I'm Kim Weiler, and thank you so much for listening to my very first podcast. I'm so honored to have this opportunity to talk to you today about everything skin and health. So, from my experience, when people have a skin disease, it can be absolutely crushing to our self-esteem. We don't realize how much shame and fear of judgment that we're carrying around with us all the time, in our hearts, in our minds, and all of that just amounts to this unconscious belief that we're not enough. But we are enough, and it's my mission to help you believe it too. So I'm really excited to share my story with you because I want to give you a really good sense of who I am and help you heal your skin or maybe something else that you're suffering from. And what's great is whatever that is for you, I know what I teach can help all of you, no matter what you're struggling with. My goal with this podcast is to inspire you and leave you with a newfound energy and knowledge and drive to take back control of your health. That's the name of this podcast, Taking Control of Our Health. So for the last 20 years, I've worked in a few different aspects of the TV and film industry. And now here I am, I'm in my 40s, and I have made a huge transition to becoming an internationally certified holistic health coach and author. You see, for the last 20 years, I've suffered from an autoimmune disease called psoriasis. And for those of you who may not know what psoriasis is, let me explain. It's a disease where the normal person's skin sheds about once a month when our cells mature. But someone like me with psoriasis, my skin sheds rapidly every few days. And I'm left with these layers of red, inflamed, thick, scaly spots or patches all over my body that are insanely itchy. And anybody out there with psoriasis, I'm speaking for all of us, I'm sure, or at least most of us, it does not make us feel very attractive. That's to say the least. So today, people are suffering from more autoimmune illnesses than ever before in the history of the United States. And that means that you, or most likely one of your loved ones, might be suffering and you don't even know it yet. So I just want to break down what an autoimmune disease is and what are some of the names that you may have heard. I know people with Hashimoto's disease, rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's disease, irritable bowel syndrome, multiple sclerosis, cancer. I mean, the list goes on and on. It's rampant nowadays, unfortunately. So what's happening is your autoimmune system is it's confused. It has one job, and that job is to fight off foreign invaders. Those foreign invaders are things like trauma, or if you get an infection, maybe you have an injury, your everyday toxins and allergens, even stress. Stress is 100% a foreign invader, right? So, but our bodies are getting confused, and it's actually looking at our own healthy cells and tissues as if they're these foreign invaders. So it attacks them. So basically, our own body is attacking itself. And for me, it's attacking my skin. So here's this disease that I've struggled with emotionally, physically. And because of this disease, I can tell you I've had some really low moments in my life. I'm sure you can imagine. I remember the worst day is just sitting on my bathroom floor, sobbing and screaming, "Why me?" I mean, it sucked. It sucked so bad. But little did I know at the time that this disease would not only change my life for the better, but that I'd be able to help hundreds of people because of it. So let me take you back to when my healing journey first began, which was 6 years ago. And it all started with my dog, Max. Yes, I said my dog. You heard that right. So I was 35 years old at the time. Max was a rescue, and he had everything wrong with him that you can possibly imagine. He was so sick for so many years. And I had found him when they thought he was about 3 years old. So by the time he was 11, I was so desperate for him to just get healthier and live a happier life. I just wanted him to be, his most happy in whatever time he had left on this earth. So I was living in Manhattan at the time, and I had moved to a new neighborhood. So I had a new vet. And at the time, she had suggested that I cooked whole foods for Max. She said, if you just cooked what you and I would eat, like organic chicken and wild-caught fish and vegetables and things like that, she said, just stay away from any processed dog food. And she had referred to that as leftover scraps. She said, you have no idea what's in it. And at least by cooking for him, you'll know what you're putting into his body. So let me just say that statement alone it still stays with me. It stays with me for years and years because it's so powerful. It's such a constant reminder for me. I'm just going to repeat it. It's leftover scraps, and you have no idea what's in it. So what does that remind you of? Our processed food, right? Our processed food, not just dog food. So out of complete desperation, I started cooking for Max, and he loved it. He started to drool for the first time ever. He was this tiny little beagle, and beagles, they're known for eating everything off the street and whatever they can find, and he had never drooled before, and here I'm cooking this food for him, and he starts drooling. It's hilarious. So let me just tell you, in a short time, Max went from not being able to walk well to actually running. And he was weaned off all of his medications within a 6-month period. And at his annual blood work checkup, my veterinarian said that his 11-year-old insides were that of a 6-month-old puppy. So are you feeling blown away? Because I was completely blown away. I'm still blown away every time I think about that time because it was such a huge moment for me. It was when I learned for the first time how much food really is our medicine. Food really is our medicine. I mean, how many times have you heard we are what we eat? So just think about that saying for a moment. Food is our medicine. And if we eat well, we will bathe our cells in nutrients and we'll thrive. But if we eat crap, we get sick. And it's literally that simple. It is so simple. So here I was, extremely curious about this whole food thing because I thought, well, what could it do for my skin disease? What can it do for me? I watched it transform Max's life. So I became obsessed. I started doing research. I started watching every health documentary, reading every book, you name it, I did it. Actually, all of those wonderful resources are on my website. So if you need them, go check them out. My website is healingmyskin.com, which is pretty easy to remember, healingmyskin.com. So check those out if you need those. So I decided to change my lifestyle, really, really, really change it, not just go on a diet like I normally did. So I went in my kitchen. I started cleaning out all my pantries and my fridge and my cabinets. Then I called all my close family and friends because I needed them to know. I needed their support. And I actually think that's a really important step when you're making any healthy change in your life is just making sure that everybody close to you is on board and will offer you nothing but the love and support that you need. So within 1 year of eating whole foods and nothing else, I healed my skin for the first time in almost 20 years. It was amazing. Words cannot describe how freeing that was to just feel good in my own skin for the very first time since I was 19 years old. And sometimes when I talk about my life with psoriasis, I can't help but refer to it as my psoriasis prison because that's exactly what it was. It was a prison, and I had locked myself up for almost 20 years because I never believed that I was the one in control. My skin disease was always the one in control. And how many of you feel that way about something that you're struggling with? My skin disease dictated how I would feel that day and what I would wear more times than I could remember, unfortunately. So here I was for the first time free from that. It actually felt really foreign to me. I mean, I'd be at work and I would go into the bathroom and I'd always look at my elbows to make sure it didn't come back. It was hard. It was hard to accept my new skin without feeling a bit paranoid. But soon enough I would get used to it and love every inch of it. But it wasn't the skin. I mean, yes, it was the skin I loved, but what I loved, I think, more was just feeling empowered. That new empowerment, something that I hadn't felt for a really, really long time. So here I was now in control of my health, and it felt freaking incredible. So I want to help you take control of your health, and that's exactly why I am here. So on my next podcast, I look so forward to delving into exactly what I did to heal my skin, and I'm going to walk you through my diet and some other really important stuff that can help you. I have a plethora of topics that I'll be speaking about pertaining to skin and health and just overall well-being. So please know I'd love your feedback, love your feedback, and I also welcome requests. So if there's anything you're dealing with or if you just have questions about something, I would be happy to talk about it in this podcast. And to learn more about me, you can check out my website, www.healingmyskin.com. Again, that's healingmyskin.com. And you can also check out my book. It's called P.S. It's All About Love. And that's on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Outskirts Press. But you can just go to my website and you'll see links for everything. So check that out. Check out my journey. And there's blogs and there's tons of really wonderful resources and free stuff on my site. So, yeah, check that out. And thank you so much for listening to Passionate World Radio Network. I'm so excited to be here and looking forward to returning next time. Thank you.